So we are live. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show where I bring you champion from all over the world, and people who have done, or have had to conquer, difficult situation, but still, being able to be victorious in their fight, in their challenges. And today, as usual, as the previous days when we had to had those tough discussion, I'm bringing you a champion and somebody who is gonna help us today understand how we can become the actor and the director of our life. And it's gonna be, I think, very exciting because we are in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot of things going on, uncertainty, volatility, disruption, ambiguity in a lot of things that we are doing. So it's about time that we understand that we are in control at the end of the day, and we can be the actor and the director in the midst of this disruption. So I'm not gonna stay long, and I'll bring our guest with me today. So make sure you have a pen, you have a paper or notebook, whatever you can use to take notes, and really participate as well. If you have a question, if you have an insight, just just let us know and ask our guest, and it's gonna be more than happy to interact with you. So don't go anywhere. I'm coming back with our guest today, who is Glenn Lundy, and he's gonna get the opportunity to introduce himself and let us know, how he managed to become the person that he is right now, and then we can have this very important conversation on being the actor and the director of our life. So let's start, and don't go anywhere.
All right, okay. Let's get started right into it. And that is the power of labels, right?
On memories, but as I got older, I started to be more aware of some of the abusive sides of.
So welcome, Glenn. How are you? How is everything on your side?
I am good. Thank you for asking and super excited to be here with you. I love that intro. Incredible, beautiful. I was back here jamming. I can totally
Isn't
get
it?
it.
It puts you in the mood and
Yeah,
ready to have the conversation, isn't it?
absolutely. Yeah, I love it, man. Love it.
Mm,
So thank you so much
mhm.
for having me.
So just obviously, I'm excited to have you, and you've been planning this for quite a long time. But I want the audience to know who you are. So if you can introduce yourself and let us know what are the key things that have shaped the person that you are right now, and just let us know who is Glenn.
Yes, I am Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, going on
Whoa.
eight
Oh
kiddos.
my goodness.
And I am also a 20-year, 22-year now automotive professional. And I am the host of the wildly popular Facebook Live show, hashtag Rise and Grind, a show that I do at 5:30 a.m. Monday through Friday right here on Facebook.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I know that it's a very popular show followed by a lot of people. And I'm always like, wow, he has so much energy. Having so many children and still have this energy left. It's just sometimes, I can't think about it because I only had two and I'm already like what? Seven going to eight? It's just amazing. So I mean, you are obviously, you didn't start with the seven,
No, 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 no.
and you've gone a long way. So I just wanted to ask you, what have been really, the challenging moment in your life where you were basically asking yourself what's happening to me, and almost getting ready to give up. So what are those moments and how did you rebound from that?
Yeah, so there was a rough season of my life. I think we all have,
Mm-hmm.
rough seasons in our life. We all have different stories that God or the universe, uses ultimately to get us to where we all are today and to propel us forward. And so for me, I had a real rough season where I had a victim mentality and I made a lot of poor decisions. I didn't have any moral high ground. I took advantage of a lot of people. And that season led me to ultimately losing custody of my daughter, who was 6 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I lost full custody of her. I wasn't able to be in her life. And it also led me to some stints in and out of jail. I ultimately ended up homeless in San Diego, on the
Mm-hmm.
beaches of San Diego. And in the midst of the homelessness and the loss of my rights to be able to see my daughter, I reached a very depressed and hopeless place, a
Mm-hmm.
very depressed and hopeless place that led me to believe that the best course of action to get out of the situation I was in and to protect other people was ultimately to take my own life,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I attempted to do right there in the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, off of La Jolla, California.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, God ripped me out of the water and put me back up on the beach, and
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of a defining moment for me, because I realized at that point multiple things, but I realized the universe was huge and my problems were actually really small in comparison. And I also realized that I was the constant in every negative situation in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the one that was always there. It didn't matter what city I lived in, who I was around, the result was always the same because I was always there. And so that helped me to realize, okay, well, if I'm responsible for all the negative things in my life, well, then that means I am also responsible for all the positive things in my life. And I need to go ahead and take control of this narrative. And lastly, I realized there's no easy way out of this thing. Like, it's going to be hard,
Mm-hmm.
whether life is good or bad, it's still going to always be hard. And so that was kind of a shift for me, where I started to study and understand the spiritual side of myself a little bit more, started
Mm-hmm.
diving into self-development, and I still made plenty of mistakes along the way.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, just all of a sudden, everything's
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
continued to make a lot of mistakes as I did a lot of reprogramming up here, so that I could ultimately become, the star of my own movie. And
Mm-hmm.
I got to direct it, and you get to choose whether your movie is a tragedy or a drama or a comedy or one of inspiration. And I chose to
Mm-hmm.
be a comeback story, and that's the life I'm trying to live now.
It's just amazing, isn't it? You had to go really deep to have this breakthrough and understand that, you know what, I'm actually the one in control here, because like you said, I realized that I was the only constant in
That's
the
right.
negative things in my life. And I love this statement, because sometimes we start to blame others, we start to give reason for what's happening to us, but we don't realize that at the end of the day, we are always there. So we are the one creating all of this, and we need to take on it and try to have, to look at it from a different perspective. So we have quite a few, actually quite a lot of people from the beginning already. So we have Sophie. Sophie, I think she got the name. It's Glenn. So Sophie is watching from Cameroon,
Hi, Sophie,
Africa. Hi, Sophie.
from
We
Africa.
have,
Nice.
we have Helda Chisholm. She's also, she's been on the show as well, and she's saying suicidal thoughts are very real, and a lot of people struggle in this area. Thank God you were pulled up and out of the situation,
Amen to
and
that.
that, amen to that. Yes, and she likes, I liked that, become the star of your own movie. And we also have Kenya, so she's watching from the US as well. And so that's really full house from the beginning. And that's the thing, that's the thing. When do we realize that, we have to take control and we have to own those things? So how did this shift, help you going forward? Because obviously you managed to turn your life, and especially professionally, get into the, the automobile industry. So how did this low moment help you to go up, if I can express myself that way?
Sure. Well, I think once you realize the responsibility that you have in the results of your own life, I think
Mm,
once I particularly realized, uh, once I realized that, it sounds scary kind of on the outside, right? You're like, okay, I got to take responsibility for everything,
mm-hmm,
and that can feel heavy. But you get to take responsibility for the wins too, right? Like,
mm-hmm,
so when you win, when you attack the morning, or you get up early, or you go do that workout, or you get that job, or you sell that first product, or you make an impact in somebody's life, like when you get that win, you get to celebrate that too, right? You get to go,
mm-hmm,
I was responsible for that. I took action, and my actions caused a result. And
mm-hmm,
so that was the biggest thing for me, is it's like, okay, yes, it's my fault. I'll go ahead and
mm-hmm,
take that. It's my fault that my relationship wasn't strong. It's my fault I lost custody of my daughter. It's my fault that my financial position was where it was, right? And I really had to look in the mirror for that. But that means it's glorious at the same time. Like, God has given us this ability to create. He's given
mm-hmm,
us this gift. And so as I started to reprogram my mind,
mm-hmm,
going, okay, well, it's not necessarily a bad thing when I make a mistake. Yes, I'm
mm-hmm,
responsible for it, but that means I can learn and I can grow from it. Right.
mm-hmm,
And I get to count all the wins and the rewards on the other side as well. So I really just started diving into, how do I make myself smarter so I can make less mistakes? How
mm-hmm,
do I reprogram my mind so that I don't continue with those same actions? What
mm-hmm,
can I do daily as a discipline to develop stronger habits? And
mm-hmm,
ultimately, how can I go out and make an impact in other people's lives using my story, so that people don't have to be like me and end up
mm-hmm,
on a beach somewhere, ready to end their lives?
mm-hmm,
And just going through that transition and that process, and just trusting that we have a gift, and we have this ability, and that God's there to carry us through it. All of that has been able to help me have, a lot of success up to this point, and hopefully much
mm-hmm,
more success going forward.
mm-hmm. Fantastic. And we have Ken, Elder Chisholm again. Yes, changing our mind on the situation will cause us to view our action and outcome differently. And we have Reverend Kenya. When you get that win, you are responsible for that accountability and self growth. So, and that's the part as well. Sometimes that we forget to do is really celebrate, those wins, even when they're very small, and not just take them for granted, because it counts for us to go to the next level
That's
and
right.
continue to become the best version of ourselves. And like you said, start to position ourselves as well as role model for other people, so that our stories feed them and they don't repeat, all the wrong things that we've done so far.
That's
So
right.
we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna get back to this very insightful conversation, and really dig deep a little bit more. So for those joining us just now, my guest is Glenn Lundy, and is in the U.S., in Kentucky, because I thought it was in California, but is it in Kentucky? And we are really, happy to have him here to talk about being the actor and the director of our lives. So don't go anywhere. We'll come back after a small break. So we are back. We are back with Glenn, and today we are focusing on becoming the actor and the director of our lives. And Glenn, I wanted to ask you, obviously you had all those challenges, but did you have any inspiration, growing up, and people that you look up to, and that was, and focusing on that actually help you in a way to get out of all those challenges, and how did they help you?
Yes, what you don't see right now. So you see me sitting in my studio on a chair is what you see, but what you don't see is I've got all kinds of people with me. They're all invisible. They're hanging out on my shoulders. All these little Jiminy Crickets, man. I've got Eric Thomas is sitting over here on one shoulder, number one motivational speaker in the world, and Les Brown is sitting over here, and Jim Rohn's back here, and Bob Proctor's got a spot over on this side, and John Maxwell, Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
There are many incredible humans, most of whom have never met me or don't know me from nothing, but they've inspired me in so many ways. When I decided to take control of my life, I'm a pretty good student.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of studying. I totally believe that success leaves clues. And once I dive into an area, like I go deep into that particular subject. And so I started really listening to like motivational videos and inspirational videos, Eric Thomas, Les Brown's, like kind of the big speakers, the Tony Robbins. I started going down that road initially, and each of those people played a role in different seasons of my life. So like Eric Thomas, he's a very powerful, like, he yells at you, right? He's like, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, and everybody wants to be a beast until it comes time to do what beasts do, and he's yelling, right? And at that point in my life, I needed that. Like, I needed somebody to yell at me and kick me in the rear end and all of those things. That's what I needed. But then as I progressed and started notching some wins, and I started scaling up and moving into different seasons, then I kind of transitioned over to a Les Brown. Les Brown is more of a Les Brown is a very, there's greatness in you, and yes, life is going to be a struggle, and yes, there's going to be down times, but that's where we extract our greatness, right? And so
Mm,
I went through a season where I needed to hear that as I was starting to develop and grow. And then as I started getting more like leadership in my career and seeing opportunities to help other people, I shifted over to guys like John Maxwell, the
mhm,
21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and Simon Sinek, Start with
mhm,
Why, and just started really studying leadership, and listening to those videos and audiobooks and all of that stuff. And so it really took a lot of reprogramming to get rid of the stinking thinking that
mhm,
I had before. And thankfully, we live in an age where we now have access to everyone around
mhm,
the globe, and the information's there. And so I just poured into that. They all became my mentors. I have had a chance to meet some of them, which is great. I've
mhm, mhm,
met John Maxwell, met Eric Thomas. I shared a stage with Eric Thomas, actually. Things like that. But
mhm,
ultimately, those were my inspirations. The big speakers and leadership experts and those types of things. Because to be honest, before that, there were some people in my life that I
mhm,
believed in, but the things that they were teaching me weren't necessarily good for me,
mhm,
right? Like I was learning from people that weren't really that successful. They were just
mhm,
in my network. They were my
mhm,
family member or a friend, or they happened to live in the neighborhood, you know, and I didn't necessarily get the best direction from those
mhm,
particular people. So I had to go to the very top, the experts that have been there, done that. Their success is tried, true, and proven, and they were the ones that now speak to me in whispers in my ears all the.
mhm. And I like when you said, first of all, it was just the people around you, and then you just realize, I have to go to the people who've done it, who know what they're talking about, and so that I can emulate them. Because if you've never done it, I mean, whatever you say, it's not actually, has no value in a way,
That's
because
right.
you've never actually been in this situation, you've never actually had the opportunity to to struggle and then go to the top like they did, most of them. So it's important to understand that. And what I also get is that you might not have the opportunity to have those mentors physically around you, but you can access them because you access them through videos, through all kind of learning, long distance learning. And at some point you got the opportunity to meet with them, because that's also something. It must have been very emotional, I can imagine, when you had the opportunity to actually see them and really get to talk to them face
Yeah,
to
no
face and
doubt.
ask them those questions. Because I had this feeling when I first met actually Les Brown. I was still living in South Africa, and I was like, "Well, what do I ask him?"
Right.
Because it's just so intimidating, and that's really great. So I mean, obviously now you're now you have your family and big family,
Very big.
and also continuing to better yourself and still going to the next level of your greatness. So what are the new challenges, being now stable in a way, but having to manage all those young lives, and and with your ambition of still going high, because obviously you're not done yet.
Well, I learn a lot from my kids.
Mm-hmm,
I'm constantly watching them because they're just amazing, right? Kids are
mm-hmm,
so free thinking, and they don't have a lot of that stinking thinking yet. And
mm-hmm,
so I learn a lot from them. But as far as challenges, on the other side, I think that as I've reached higher levels, there's always another level, right?
mm-hmm,
You reach over a peak, and then you peek your head over, and there's like a whole nother peak over
mm-hmm,
there. And so sometimes a challenge is for me is to slow down
mm-hmm,
long enough to really enjoy and embrace what I've built and what we've been able to do before I go to that next peak, right? Like I know that that next peak is over there and I've got to get there because life is all about constant growth and it's always
Mm-hmm.
about getting to that next level. And we don't ever want to get comfortable or stay exactly where we are. But there is value in maximizing where you are before you go on to that next, that before you go to climb that next peak. And so that's been one of my challenges. I have a friend, Adi Arazzini, and she built a tea company on Instagram, literally built it from her bedroom. Now she does millions of orders. And I was having a conversation with her, and she said one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of business owners make is they create something that worked and then they
Mm-hmm.
don't repeat it because
Mm-hmm.
they're immediately jumping to the next big thing. She
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she was referring to me specifically. She was like, Glenn, you built this group on Facebook. It's so much engagement. There's all these people. You're selling planners and t-shirts and all of these things and courses and so on and so forth. And she's like, but you like do it once and then you're
Mm-hmm.
like creating something new. She's like, maximize that opportunity, serve your people as
Mm-hmm.
best as humanly possible, until that's fully overflowing. And then
Mm-hmm.
once it's overflowing, then we can move to the next thing. So that's probably the biggest challenge for me right now. For example, I was getting ready to add some more clients and whatnot at the beginning of September, and I remembered what Adi said, and I was like, okay, hit the pause button, Glenn. We'll add a couple more clients here. Let's
Mm-hmm.
take what we've got and let's really serve those people. So this entire month is we're doing hashtag Rise and Grind September spotlights, and every
Mm-hmm.
single day on my show, I'm interviewing members of the group, and we're posting in the group, like we're grabbing people's profile pics and just what we love about these people, and I'm making sure to go back and really respond to everybody's comments and develop
Mm-hmm.
relationships. And people are allowed to text me now, and we build relationships through text, a text community that we have. And so we're just slowing down long enough to
Mm-hmm.
really nurture what we've created before we move forward.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny because I think, especially the last few years with, the fourth industrial revolution, where things are going fast and changing really fast, we have the feeling that we have to follow this trend. It's really go fast and really don't never stop, basically.
Sure.
And I'm happy that your friend realized that sometimes we just have to slow down. That's the best thing for us, to really optimize, what we've already built and enjoy it
Yeah,
before we go to the next level of discomfort. Because
that's right.
obviously there's going to be discomfort, there's going to be disruption, and you never actually get the opportunity to enjoy really what you've accomplished, because you always racing for the next thing and the
Right.
next thing and the next thing, and it can actually have a toll, I mean,
Oh
on
yeah.
people, especially mentally, and with what's going on. And I wanted to ask you because obviously we have not the pandemic, and there's a lot going on, I mean, in terms of in the economy, people losing their jobs, and really eviction and whatever we can talk about. So how do you, as a leader and as somebody who is in front of who has a platform, how do you help people like that, and what are the recommendation that you will have for for them?
Yeah, there's so many things going on in the world, and it's all 1,000,000% out of our control, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all going to go through this season together. And that's the great part, is we don't have to do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
So what I talk, with all of my leaders, all the people that I have an opportunity to share space with, is we have to focus on the things that we can control,
Mm-hmm.
and we really need to focus on them first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning is the most important time that I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people miss, or they waste. So our individual souls, our energy, our spirit, whatever word you want to use,
Mhm.
our vibration, our frequency, it's important that that's rooted. It has to be really rooted and foundational and sound so that we can take on all the crazy stuff that's going to come at us in the
Mhm.
world later throughout that day, right? Because it's
Mhm.
gonna come. You can't avoid it. You can stay off social media, but you're still going to see people walking around with masks. You're gonna try to go to the grocery store. You're going to have to put a mask on. You're going to see it, and then the
Mhm.
news is going to hit you. Like, you can't avoid it throughout the day. But in the morning, there's this quiet space
Mhm.
that you can create. And so I tell everyone to do 5 simple steps first thing in the morning, 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. If you do these 5 things every day, it'll give you that
Mhm.
foundation that you need to be able to tackle and continue move forward through whatever season, including this one here. And those steps are real simple. Step 1, never hit the snooze button. Step 2, don't touch your phone first thing in the morning. Step 3, write down your gratitude and your goals, the things that you're thankful for and the things that you aspire for. And I know that sounds like 2 steps, but
Mhm.
really it's one. I think a lot of people sometimes just go right into goals. I want a bigger house. I want more money. And that actually can be really negative on the frequency because it makes you feel like where you're currently at has no value.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if we start with gratitude, I'm thankful for my home. I'm thankful for where I am now, but we're stretching and aspiring for more through our goals. That's a different frequency. That's a more positive thing. So step 3, gratitude goals. Step 4, take care of yourself physically, some type of
Mhm.
exercise, walk, crawl, run, whatever you got to do to get the body moving and in motion. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. So we want to get
Mhm.
moving first thing in the morning. And then step 5 is the most important of all the steps. You've spent the morning focusing on self, getting yourself vibrating at a powerful frequency. Now I
Mhm.
need you to step 5, send out an encouraging message. I want you to send someone a text, send someone a message on Facebook, write a note to your kids or your spouse, someone at work, send them a message. Basically, you're releasing this positive frequency out into the universe. It now
Mhm.
makes an impact on someone else. And that is how the universe turns around and feeds back into you, is by the impact you can make on others. So
Mhm.
those 5 steps, do those things every morning. I actually wrote a small little book about it,
Mhm.
themorning5.com with the number 5. People can download that ebook for free.
Mhm.
It's like take probably 45 minutes to read it, but it breaks down the full intentions behind those 5 steps and why they work.
Mhm. So I hope everybody got the opportunity to write down those 5 steps. So first thing in the morning, you have to take control of your thought in the morning. So don't go to your phone or anything. Just pause. And then the second I think is probably if I got it right, is to make sure that you are grateful for what you have.
That's right.
Be grateful for what you have. Don't think about what you don't have. Don't think about lack. Think about what you have and be grateful for it. And don't forget your body. Don't forget your body. That's another step. Make sure you move. And I know a lot of you don't want to move, it's especially when it's cold.
Right.
You have to move.
You
Even
have to
if you
move.
have to move in your house, just do it, and
That's right.
make sure, because you know that you're doing it for your own good, and to get back something positive after that. And then don't forget people that you have in your life, and friends, and spouses, children. Send them a good positive note, and
That's
so
right.
that they can get all this energy and give it back to you, because at the end of the day, you are the beneficial. It's not them. It comes back to you because you created it, but there's
That's right.
a comeback energy to you. So very, very powerful concept, and I hope everybody got it. I have Kenya here, so we'll just go through the comments again. Yeah, we need some motivation in the beginning. That's wake her up and get you excited. And then it's okay to get information for people on different level. As you require more, you need some. So that was the question before that I ask, and maximize where you are before you get to the next level. And I think that's a key one. It's really that people are struggling with right now, especially in this very capitalism. Going around, people just have to get from one job to another and pay bills and do this and do that. So it's very difficult. So let's have another break and come back with and continue our conversation with Glenn. So don't go anywhere, and really, we want you to still be here because we are learning so much from Glenn today, and I want you to be able to implement it after the show, not just take notes, but implement when you get the opportunity. So don't go anywhere.
Hashtag rise and grind. You see, one of the most important lessons that I've learned in my life is that this story, your story, is a story that you narrate. You're the actor. You're the actor that plays out every aspect of your life. You're the main character. You're the one that's gonna be there through all of the different variables as we go through these different seasons. But not only are you the actor in your life, but you're also the director. You see, you get to direct and make the decisions. You get to say cut when something doesn't fit. You get to say try again when it's not maxed out, when it's not the absolute best version of yourself that you can be. You get to be both actor and director. You see, there's only one thing in your life that you cannot control, and that's the plot line. You see, the plot line in your life, God does that. He's the producer. He ultimately knows what's coming for you. But what's unknown is how you'll choose to prepare for what's coming and the story that you're going to tell along the way. You see, that story is your legacy.
Hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation. Hashtag rise and grind.
Wow, that's I was like, whoa, that's very difficult to do, isn't it? To realize that you have to play the game, and also
Mhm.
direct thing. And so, how did you? I mean, practically did that yourself, and or even I suppose you've actually helped people to do that. And what was the reaction, and how did it go?
Yeah, it's, helping other people kind of see what I now see is really the juice, man. That's what gets me up, man. I get up at
Hmm.
3:50 a.m. every day, and
Wow.
I'm just excited for the opportunity to go out there and impact. So I believe that all humans, we have a born on date and an expiration date, right? We have
Hmm.
a start date and a finish line, but in the middle is that little dash, and that dash is what I believe is impact, right? What kind of impact is your life going to have on others? And
Hmm.
so when I'm talking with people or coaching people or on my show, all I'm trying to do is help people to rise every single day with intention and purpose. That way they can evolve into the best versions of themselves that they can possibly be, so that they can go out and make an impact. And we're going to do it together, right? I lock arms with them. And so most people initially,
Hmm.
are a little bit fearful of this idea that they are the director, that they get to choose, right? Most
Hmm.
people think that there's no choice, that it's, life's gonna, you're life's gonna deal you whatever they're gonna deal you, right? They
Mm-hmm.
say this all the time, like, you got to play the hand you're dealt, and so on and so forth. But really, it's so much the hand that you get dealt ultimately depends on where you position yourself
Mm-hmm.
on that table, like you have a choice. You get to choose what seats you sit in. You get to choose which vehicle you drive in. You get to choose the people in your life. You get to
Mm-hmm.
choose your career. You get to choose what time you get up in the morning. You get to choose. There's so many choices. When I realized that if I am sitting at a stoplight in my car, completely stopped, and I get rear-ended, when I realized that I have a responsibility in that, and I had choices that I made that led me to that, that's when my life changed. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get people to understand. So many people think, well, I was just stopped at the stoplight and somebody hit me and it's all their fault and I have zero
Mm-hmm.
responsibility. But really, if you would have left 10 seconds earlier, you wouldn't have got hit. Right? If you
Mm-hmm.
would have been in the right lane instead of the left lane, if you would have went down a different road to work than you normally go down to work. And that's to me so freeing
Mm-hmm.
to know that my choices are ultimately going to determine what happens in my
Mm-hmm.
life. My choices, not someone else's. I'm not going to hand it over to someone else. And so most people are a little resistant to that at
Mm-hmm.
first, just because of pre-programming. I totally get it. But we work on those 5 steps in the morning, and I give them uh, links and strategies and books that you can read. And it's all about that reprogramming process. And over time, most people that spend a lot of time with me, they start to take responsibility, look in the mirror, and then we can start making some shifts and moving their lives forward.
Mm-hmm. So that's good, and I like that choice. That we always have a choice, and in a way, it's just fear coming, into our way, and we don't have to succumb to fear. The choices are there. We can do it with fear and keep going forward, because sometimes, the and most of the time, the light is actually through the fear. So we
That's
have to
right.
go through that and really push forward. So I mean, you there's obviously, you've, like I said, you've done so much and then had the opportunity to experience so much. So what's really, what is the legacy that you want to leave? I mean, the legacy that you're working toward, I mean, for your kids or for any of your children, around the world. What is the most important for you right now?
I really want people to know and understand that you're not alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was homeless, the worst part of homelessness is not being hungry or being broke or not having a place to live. That sounds
Mm-hmm.
awful, but really the worst part of homelessness is you become invisible.
Mm-hmm.
People won't make eye contact with you. They're fearful of you. They don't know if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to mug them or ask them for money or
Mm-hmm.
make them feel shame or guilt for not helping you. And so you really just start to blend in. You become really invisible, and that's an awful place. When I see people that are facing depression, or that when people take their own lives, it's usually
Mm-hmm.
because they feel completely alone, like
Mm-hmm.
there's
Mm-hmm.
like there's no one that gets them or understands them, or they're not a part of anything bigger than themselves. And so everything that I do, I try to motivate, inspire, and educate.
Mm-hmm.
And every action that I take, I'm hoping to move us closer towards a planet where no one ever feels alone. Because in reality, we're all children of God, the God of the
Mm-hmm.
universe, the God that made everything. And He made everybody uniquely, and He's always with us. There are 3 dimensions to our lives. It's not 2D, it's not just mind
Mm-hmm.
and body, it's mind, body,
Mm-hmm.
spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until I realized that even in my darkest moments, even if I'm the only person on a beach, by myself in the
Mm-hmm.
darkness with nowhere to go and no one to call, God is still with me, and
Mm-hmm.
he'll carry me. He'll allow me to suffer, but he'll
Mm-hmm.
carry me through,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so with my show, with my coaching, with my courses, with my classes, with my reach, with my platform, with everything, I'm just trying to draw people together and remind them that they're all children of God and they're never, ever, ever, ever in this life by themselves.
Fantastic. And that's the key, because a lot of us, or a lot of people, actually do things because they don't want to be alone. Some people compromise themselves because they don't want to be the only person doing that. They want to be with the group,
Sure.
and and we go on like that, and we start to lose ourselves, and that's not actually what you want. And as an individual, you really want to prosper. You really want to show greatness, to actually unleash your gift, and be able to be confident and happy about it, and not having
Hmm.
to always rely on whoever is there. And I like the fact that you say God is always with us. So as
That's
long
right.
as we are with God, we don't need any other people. We just have to answer to Him and
Mhm.
ask Him if we need something, and really get moving. And that's the most important thing. But it
That's it.
becomes very difficult, because and a lot of the domestication that we go through is actually sometimes very so hard on us, that it's very difficult to find time to get our head out of it, and really understand those simple concepts that you've just described. And it's very, very difficult.
Mm.
So, I mean, we are getting, to the end of the show now, and just wanted to ask you how, people can connect with you, and is there anything that you want, something happening on your side that you really want us to know about?
Well, people can connect with me through glenlundy.com.
Mm-hmm.
That my website will connect you to my Facebook, my Instagram, all my different social media platforms, as well as you can learn more about me, my family, those types of things, at
Mm-hmm.
glenlundy.com. So people can connect with me there. And it's pretty exciting stuff. We're building, we've created a movement on Facebook with hashtag Rise and Grind group, and that particular group has over 30,000 members now. And we do a lot of things within the group and outside of the group. Like, we go
Mm-hmm.
offline and serve the community. We raised $400,000 to help battle human sex trafficking. And
Mm-hmm.
we've gone downtown and handed out gift cards to homeless folks and given them big
Mm-hmm.
hugs in the middle of a pandemic. And
Well,
uh, we do
yeah.
we do lots of things like that. So we do some stuff
Mm-hmm.
offline, we do some stuff online. And right now is actually a great time to join the group, because you can learn more about the members as we're interviewing members in the group on the show. And I think we're going to do it every September now, because it's just been amazing, really getting to know the people in the group. So those are kind of the most exciting things. Is the group
Mm-hmm.
is really moving and shaking right now, and a lot of new relationships are being developed, and obviously that leads to more fun things down the road, so.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can imagine. And people need that. They really need to, after being locked down, and all this, uh, stress going on around them and inside them as well. They really need to get into groups and start to talk about, some of the key issues and some of the key problems
Yeah, no
that
doubt.
are happening. And so I encourage, whoever is listening, whoever is gonna watch the replay, to really get to have a look at what Glenn is doing with this group, and just join and be part of the conversation, because I think it affects all of us. All those subjects that they're talking about, it affect all of us, and you can have a voice, because sometimes that's the problem. You don't know where to go to really give your give your advice, or have a voice to be able to be part of the solution, or even contribute to create a positive impact in somebody's life.
Yeah, no
So
doubt.
yeah, so we're gonna come back and have the last word, just a last last commercial, and then we'll be back to close out on the show.
Do you want more for life, but don't know what to do or how to go about it? Within us lies a treasure that makes us authentic. It has the potential to raise us to a higher pedestal in life. We are all born with the seed of greatness. There is no single person that is not born with the ability to achieve extraordinary results and live an outstanding life. Award-winning entrepreneur, public figure, empowerment advocate, and inspirational champion, Ariel Tokima, for 20 years has stepped into Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia, directing many towards success. Also appearing on CNN, Business Insider, Sheen Magazine, and CBS, she continues to teach that there is nothing more powerful than your mind to serve your calling, continuing to advise all to make each day your masterpiece. Continuing to step into her territory, she has become an international leader, teaming up with CEO and founder Janelle Harris of She Exists, helping many step into their own greatness. Be the spark of greatness the world is looking for.
So we are back. We are back for, to close out on the show with Glenn. It has been a very inspiring and insightful, a conversation on focusing on personal development, but most importantly, on understanding how we can become the actor and the director of our own life. So before we leave, Glenn, what is the last word that you want to leave the audience with?
Just know that the miracles in life always come from what's left. It's never from anything that you've lost or anything that you'll gain in the future. What you have inside of you is enough. What you have around you is all you need. Uh, your greatness and the life that you dream of or envision, the impact that you can have on others, it's in you. It's not on the outside, it's in you. So continue to develop and understand who you are and your place in this universe. And I wish everybody the best. I love you. God loves you. Have an amazing day.
That's fantastic. And I'm not going to add anything to that. It's just, Glenn has said it all. And make sure, the only thing that I always said, make sure you leave nothing on the table of life and dare to excel. So that's all for today. It's been an amazing conversation. And I hope that, for those who have been very fortunate to watch this, that they're going to share and share this so that other people can actually learn from Glenn as well and get the opportunity to also, implement the concept that is, he brought us today. And it's the same for you. Don't just stop at, listening and taking notes. Get, the opportunity to implement And if you really want to go further and understand what Glenn is doing, what the work that is doing, you can join his group and start to give your voice as well and be heard uh, in this group. So thank you very much, Glenn,
You're
and
welcome.
for your time and your inspiration, and also, for all the strategies that you've shared with us to be able to be actor and directors of our lives. So
Yeah,
thank you very much. And for the audience, I'll be back on Wednesday for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. So thank you, and may God bless you all, and make sure you become the best version of yourself and become the actor and the director of your life. So take care and see you on Wednesday.